All right, this is 9.5 Geometry Problem Solving Mastery Check. Let's look at number 1. The figure below shows a vase that holds flowers. It is a glass cylinder but has no top, so that the flowers can come out of the top. What is the surface area of the glass vase? Use 3.14 for pi. So the question here that I'm going to underline is, what is the surface area of the glass vase? And I'm going to remember that surface area is the area on the outside of the shape, so kind of like the amount of paper it would take to cover the shape. And we have a cylinder here, and we've talked about finding surface area of cylinders, but this was just a little bit different because it says it has no top. So when we divide this into the shapes that make up the surface of the cylinder, we've got a circle for the bottom, but we don't have a circle for the top like we normally do because this is a vase and it doesn't have a top. But we do still have this piece that wraps around the cylinder, kind of like a soup ladle. So we can find the area of each of these pieces and add them together, and that'll give us the surface area of this vase. So remember that the area of a circle is pi times radius squared. Area equals pi times radius squared. The radius of this circle, for the bottom of the vase, the radius is 1. So I'm going to take 1 times itself. That's what 1 squared means. And that'll just be 1. So 1 times pi is the area of this circle. Then the area of this wraparound piece, we've got a height of 10. And this length, remember, is the length of the circumference of the circle, the distance around the circle. And circumference is diameter times pi. So if the radius of the circle is 1, the diameter is 1 plus 1, or 2. So 2 pi. So that means the area of this rectangle is 20 pi. Now if we add these pieces together, we get 21 pi. And it said use 3.14 for pi. So what that means is instead of using the symbol pi, we need to actually use the number. So we're just going to replace the symbol with the number that it represents. So 21 times 3.14. You can do that using lattice. I'm going to use my calculator. That gives you 65.94 inches squared of glass. That's the surface area of that vase. Look at number 2. Number 2 says the vase described in number 1 is filled half full with water. How much water does it take to fill the vase half full? So we're trying to fill the vase half full. Well, now we're talking about the inside of that vase, how much it holds, and so that's volume. Remember that volume equals the area of the base, so pi r squared, times the height. But we are only filling it half full. So we're going to take that volume of the whole vase and then just divide it by 2 to find the amount of water in half of the vase. So I'm going to take pi times my radius, which is 1, times 1 squared, times the height of 10, and then I'm going to divide that by 2. So I just plugged in 1 for the radius and 10 for the height. And now I'm going to follow order of operations, which says I need to do exponents first. So pi times 1 squared means 1 times 1. So pi times 1 times 10 divided by 2. Remember, with multiplication and division, you can change around the order. So I'm going to multiply by the decimal 3.14 last. So 1 times 10 is 10, and then divided by 2 is 5. So I have pi times 5. I'm going to now replace the symbol with the number, so that's going to be equal to 3.14 times 5, which is equal to, again, using my calculator here, you can do this in lattice, 15.7, we're talking about inches, we're talking about volume, so cubic inches. All right, let's go to number 3. The diagram below shows a box that Paul is going to wrap with paper. How much paper will Paul need to cover the box? Well, if he's covering the box, we want to know the amount of paper. We want to know the surface area of the box. So I'm going to find the area of the top, the bottom, the front, the back, and then the left and the right side, and add those areas together. So the top of this box is 2 by 10. So that's 20, the bottom will be the same. The front is again 10 by 2, so 20. and then the left side and right side are 2 by 2, so 4. So when I add that all together, I get 80 plus 8 is 88 square inches for that surface area. Now look at number 4. It says if Paul makes the box 15 inches long instead of 10 inches long, how much more paper will he need? So if we're going to choose 15 inches instead of 10, we want to know how much more paper he'll need. So let's find how much paper he'll need first if he does use a 15-inch long box, and then we can subtract the amount he needed before to find how much more he'll need. So the top of the box would now be 2 times 15, so 30. The bottom would be the same. The front would be 15 times 2, so 30. The left would still be 4. The right would still be 4. So now we have 128 when we add those together. That's not our answer because the question again is how much more paper will he need. So I'm going to have to subtract how much he needed before to find the difference here. So he needs 40 square inches more paper if he makes the box 15 inches long instead of 10.